Good evening. My name is Stephen Wood, and I am a professional magician who lives and works in Southern California. Today is Friday, October 17th, and I am standing outside Congressman Adam Schiff's office. Now, why am I here? It's because I am going to be a professional witness to an event that you're about to see. Now, I want to assure you, there is no sleight of hand, no chicanery, there is no prestidigitation in what you see. This is not the illusion. What you're about to see is real. So, with that in mind, I'd like to present to you for your consideration the words and actions of an American taxpayer. The words and actions of Mr. Alan Andrews.
Thank you, Stephen. Last spring, I sent a document like this one to my congressional representative, Adam Schiff, whose offices are in this building. It went like this. To my congressional representative, whereas the taxes withheld from me last year have already been budgeted to be spent and therefore cannot be rebated to me, and whereas any federal government borrowing of money to send me a check only removes money from the capital markets, money that businesses could have borrowed and invested in ways to increase economic activity, and whereas any such federal borrowing, by reducing available capital from markets, causes upward pressure on interest rates, making it more difficult for businesses to borrow to increase economic activity. And whereas recessions are a normal, natural, and unpreventable part of our free market economy, and whereas attempts by the federal government since 1929 to lessen the depth or duration of recessions has often deepened or lengthened them, and whereas my small contribution to the success of our national economy is not dependent on so-called help from the federal government, but rather on my own initiative, industry, imagination, my American spirit, and most of all, my freedom. Therefore, be it known to my congressional representative that I will neither cash nor utilize funds from any check, falsely called a rebate, that I may receive from the federal government as a result of the recently enacted law. Be it also known that I intend to demonstrate my displeasure with this foolish action by the federal government by taking the aforementioned check to a suitable location in or near my congressional representative's office, where I shall burn it. I intend to invite other citizens similarly minded to join me in this action, and to invite the local press and broadcast media to observe this protest. To show this firm resolution, I hereby affix my signature below. Thank you. And I signed such a document and presented it to Congressman Schiff's office last spring. But when I informed the Congressman's office, someone in his office, that this event was about to transpire, I was cautioned that starting a fire could be dangerous. Well, patronizing attitudes like that aside, let's live a little dangerously then, shall we? I hold in my hands the check that I received in late August.
Hold on. Come in a little bit more.
Got it?
Got it.
Okay, good. Now, I intend to send half of the ashes to Congressman Schiff and half of the ashes to Secretary of the Treasury Paulson, and therefore I shall
Let me zoom in
divide the check in half.
Let me zoom in a little bit. Go ahead.
Okay, now let's burn them.
Hold on, don't move so fast. Don't move so fast.
Now, let's burn them.
Move slowly, slowly, slowly. Let me follow you down. Don't get in the way of the check. Your hands are in the way of the check. Make sure it can be seen. Before you do any burning, let me. Oh, I'm gonna get on it.
Ready?
Hold on. All right, go ahead. And then we focus in on that one just to make sure. So people know to show the back of it so they know it's not folded over. Okay. Go ahead. That was dangerous.
Now I'm sending one bunch of ashes to Secretary Paulson, as I said, and this is the letter that shall accompany them. Dear Secretary Paulson, enclosed is an envelope containing 1/2 of the ashes from the economic stimulus check I was sent. The check number was 2309-449-76082. The other half has been sent to my congressional representative, Adam Schiff. Frequently, we hear leaders in our society decrying the tendency of some citizens to incur debt and to then spend the money on non-necessities. Interestingly, in contrast, they do not seem to criticize a government which likewise takes on debt to give money to citizens to spend similarly. Sorry, but I refuse to be involved in such a travesty. I believe that neither the success of my personal economy nor my productive part of the national economy depends upon the federal government borrowing money to give to me. I can see no value in that government trying to help me in such a way. Therefore, so as to not be an accomplice in this foolish action, I have burned, not cashed, the check. It is destroyed. The $425 it represented can now remain on the positive side of the government's ledger, instead of being part of a horrendously sized public debt that must be serviced and ultimately paid off. Please use the taxes I do willingly pay, as would a wise steward, letting prudence and frugality be your guiding principles. Thank you, and sincerely. May I please say just one more thing? We're now in what many people think are really tough economic times. Let me tell you, the big economic crises are not here yet. Unfunded government pensions, deficits in Medicare, and deficits in Social Security are going to make the present situation look like a picnic. Where will the government get the tens of trillions of dollars they're going to need to make up those shortfalls? May I suggest that if we wait for the politicians, the solution will not come. But there is a solution that is in the power of every American citizen. The government can compel us to pay taxes, but the government cannot compel us to take money from it. For example, this money, or any other benefit the government wants to try to give us, we can simply say no. And if enough Americans say no to what the government wants to try to do for us, we may solve some problems that are on the horizon. I thank you very much for your time.
Well, that may be from the beginning. All right, go ahead.
To Secretary Paulson.
Let me get a good picture of this.